The history of the New York Stock Exchange is not just a chronicle of a building or a market. It is the story of how the United States transformed from a collection of loosely connected colonies into the financial engine of the world. It begins not with a grand marble hall but outdoors on a dusty Manhattan street in the late 18th century. In the wake of the Revolutionary War, the young American government was saddled with significant debt. To manage this, the first Congress authorized the issue of $80 million in government bonds. However, there was no centralized system to trade these bonds or the shares of the few existing banks. Trading was chaotic, often taking place in coffee houses or on street corners where curbstone brokers would shout prices at one another. This lack of structure led to wild price swings and frequent scams, necessitating a formal agreement to bring order to the madness. On May 17, 1792, 24 stockbrokers gathered under a buttonwood tree at 68 Wall Street to sign the Buttonwood Agreement. This simple document, only 2 paragraphs long, established 2 revolutionary rules. The brokers would only trade with each other and they would maintain a fixed commission rate. This created a closed, trusted network that laid the foundation for institutional stability. By 1817, the organization formalized further, adopting the name New York Stock and Exchange Board. They moved indoors to rented spaces, drafting a constitution that introduced a call system where the president would read the list of stocks twice a day, and members would bid on them from assigned seats, the origin of the term seat on the exchange. As the 19th century progressed, the NYSE became the primary engine for American expansion. The Industrial Revolution brought a massive demand for capital to fund the construction of railroads, canals, and telegraph lines. The exchange provided the platform for visionaries like Cornelius Vanderbilt and J.P. Morgan to raise the massive sums required to stitch the continent together. By the time the Civil War ended, the volume of trading had exploded, leading the exchange to move to its permanent home at 18 Broad Street in 1865. This era saw the transition from a call market to a continuous market, where stocks could be traded at any time during the day, which vastly increased liquidity but also paved the way for intense speculation. The 20th century tested the NYSE's resilience like never before. The Great Crash of 1929 remains the most defining moment in its history, when years of unchecked margin trading culminated in Black Tuesday, wiping out billions in wealth and triggering the Great Depression. This catastrophe led to the first major government intervention in the market, the Securities Exchange Act of 1934, and the creation of the SEC. These regulations were designed to restore public trust through transparency and oversight. Despite the hardships of the Depression and the closure of the exchange during the onset of World War I, the NYSE emerged in the post-war era as the undisputed global leader of finance, symbolizing the triumph of American capitalism over the competing ideologies of the Cold War. In the modern era, the NYSE has undergone a radical technological metamorphosis. For nearly 2 centuries, the open outcry system, where traders signaled with their hands and shouted orders on a crowded floor, was the heart of the exchange. However, the rise of electronic communication networks in the 1970s and 1980s began to shift the momentum toward digital execution. In 2006, the NYSE transitioned from a private nonprofit to a public company, merging with the electronic exchange archipelago to become a hybrid market. Today, while the iconic trading floor with its bell and marble columns remains a powerful symbol of global commerce, the vast majority of trades happen in milliseconds within massive server farms in New Jersey. The NYSE stands today as a testament to the idea that while technology and regulations change, the fundamental human need to organize, value, and trade the future remains the heartbeat of the global economy.